Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my first impressions look on the Nike PG5. So this shoe is going for 110 bucks, so basically the same price as the PG4. It's pretty much a budget shoe, and if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. This colorway is available, and let's get it started right off with the tracciones, right? So the traction, you're like, oh, this looks kind of interesting, and it looks very familiar, right? Well, you are not wrong. It is pretty much the exact same thing as the Kobe 9, and as you guys know, the Kobe 9 was it's god tier traction. The Kobe 9 was awesome. On a clean court, it had an insane bite. On dust, really no dust pickup. Durability, I'm not 100% sure. I really never played with the Kobe 9s on an outdoor court. It doesn't seem like the most durable, but you know. But anyways, yeah, so the Kobe 9 was awesome, right? So the PG5 is literally using the exact same traction pattern. Is it insanely good? Just like the Kobe 9? Doesn't seem like it right now, right? So trying the Kobe 9 on my wood floors. It has an insane bite. It stops really fast. It has a nice high-pitched squeak too, as you guys already know. I'm sure most people have tried the Kobe 9s, you know what I'm saying? And then the PG5, the stop doesn't seem as good, and there's really no squeak either. It's like a very silent traction pattern right now. So obviously, as you guys already know, I've been saying this for quite a while, like the traction pattern doesn't matter, you know, the whatever they choose. I mean, it matters a little bit. Like if the tread is really close together, then it can trap a good amount of dust, which kind of sucks. But for overall stopping power and like the overall performance of the traction, it's mostly dependent on the rubber compound, right? So the rubber compound in the PG5 just, I guess, is different than the Kobe 9. And in my opinion, right now, it doesn't seem as good, which is a huge bummer because a lot of you guys, including me, was like, yo, I hope it's just as good as a Kobe 9. But right now it doesn't seem that good, and as far as the durability goes, it doesn't seem like it's going to be the best either. The tread is super thin, the rubber is really soft as well, so I don't think the durability is going to be that good. All right, here in the middle of the outsole, we can see the midfoot shank plates, just plastic, and I'm pretty sure this is the same piece as this piece here on the side. It says Nike Air, and it kind of protrudes out from the midsole here in the midfoot area. And here in the heel, we can see this isn't the Air Strobel unit. They're calling it the Nike Air Dot Weld Strobel, which is a weird name. But seeing from the dismantling, it looked pretty much the exact same as the PG4, right? But does it feel the exact same? Not really, right? So trying on the PG5, it's a little bit harder to feel the actual like air unit underneath your foot as opposed to the PG4. I don't know if the PSI is lower or something like that, because the insole looks pretty much exactly the same, but feeling the insole, like when you feel the insole of the PG5, it feels pretty stiff, you know. It looks like a foam material, but like when you squeeze it feels kind of stiff. So maybe that's the reason why I can't feel the air unit as much as the PG4. And then when you peel back the insole to reveal the, I'm just gonna call it the Air Strobel unit, it feels and looks exactly the same as the PG4. So I don't know what's going on there. It just doesn't feel as soft and as bouncy as the PG4. And I have like 5 pairs of the PG4. I really like that shoe. And yeah, the PG5 cushion just doesn't feel like as nice in my opinion right now. Maybe I need to break it in, but to be honest, the PG4 felt really nice right away, so I didn't really need to break it in at all. And as far as the foam goes, they're using probably just a Phylon midsole, and it's actually really soft, right? We can see that the rubber outsole comes up a little bit here on the lateral side in the heel to cage the cushion a little bit, but overall it's a really soft foam. I don't know how long it'll last though. It'll probably bottom out quickly. But as of right now, the foam feels soft. The Air Strobel unit still feels nice, just not as soft and not as nice as the PG4 to me right now. So there is the cushioning setup. All right, moving on to the materials. So this material looks really similar to the PG2 and the PG 2.5 obviously. It looks pretty much identical. It's just the actual pattern in the weave of the knit, or I guess textile, is a little bit different. And that's about it. The feeling feels really crappy. Like, it's super thin though. But right now it just feels flimsy. So like when I'm walking around and then like obviously my forefoot bends a little bit, this part kind of digs into my like the top of my foot. It doesn't hurt because the material is, I guess, overall like soft. It doesn't really pinch that much, but it still like feels really cheap. So I don't really like the material choice all too much. Although I do like that it is a really thin material. I don't think it's going to be a huge issue in the future though. I'm sure this will break in pretty nicely and get softer over time, but right now it feels really crappy. Here on the lateral side, we got a synthetic leather material. Kind of comes up here into the eyelets, so the laces go through it. It adds a little bit more support, and of course it'll increase the durability of this material as well. And then here in the ankle area, we have a very small swoosh, and it kind of wraps around into the heel. And in this colorway, the swoosh changes color from like orange to yellow, which I think is pretty cool. And we have some more synthetic leather. As far as the tongue goes, the tongue is a half booty construction tongue, so it connects to a material that goes underneath this upper, which gives you a better overall one-to-one fit. And the tongue has a little bit of padding. It feels nice. It feels like a high density memory foam, so it's not just like a regular foam. It feels pretty plush and nice on foot. And then here in the ankle area, there's a little bit of padding. There's really no Achilles pads, or I guess there's just one Achilles pad where your Achilles is. So that feels nice and plush. So overall, the materials feel super cheap and pretty crappy. It looks not that nice too, but on foot, I feel like it'll be okay. I feel like, you know, over time, like I said, it'll get a little bit better. Here in the toe box, we have a little mini swoosh on the medial side. We got PG's logo on this tag, and we also have PG's logo here on the tongue as well. Here in the back of the heel, it says Air, and we got 5 dots for PG5. So those are some little touches for the PG5. All right, moving on to the fit. Well, I went true to size and it fits me really well, but it's a very snug fit, right? Or I guess lengthwise, it's very snug. So if you don't like that, I would suggest going up half a size, because literally my toe is right at the edge, right? As far as the toe space goes, surprisingly, it's not that snug, right? I wouldn't say it's to the point where it's very uncomfortable and very roomy and there's a lot of dead space right now. I would say there's a little bit more than I'm like super comfortable with. I feel like they should have made it a little bit more snug, but that's okay. And the width-wise, it's actually narrow, right? So here in the forefoot, as you guys can see from this foam midsole coming up, it kind of looks like two peaks, kind of like a mountain. That part is kind of squeezing against the side of my foot, so it's a narrow fit. And if you have a wide foot, I would suggest going up half a size or maybe even the full size. Also, another thing I like about the shoe is the very high heel tab. It makes the shoe really easy to put on and also take off. So that's a nice little plus there. Oh, moving on to the heel to toe transition. I forgot to do the heel to toe transition. It feels overall pretty smooth. Here in the heel, you have a nice curved shape, a good amount of heel compression, which feels great. The forefoot curve is not that nice though. It's a little bit flatter than usual. I mean, it's not terrible, but I wish it had a little bit more curve, just in my opinion. So it kind of slaps right now, it feels like. But it's not a huge deal because, you know, there is a good amount of forefoot flex. So I feel like, you know, it'll be a little bit of a slapper when you're running down the court is all. All right, for support and lockdown, for lateral containment, we do have some lateral counters, as I mentioned before. Here in the forefoot, you got the two peaks with the Phylon midsole coming up, acting as a side wall. And then we have this synthetic leather material also stiffening up this upper, so you get a little bit more support there. And then here in the heel, we got a lot of the foam coming up and an internal TPU heel count. So I feel like lateral containment is going to be good. As far as the lateral stability goes, we do have a little bit of knot rigor and you're low to the ground, so I feel like lateral stability is going to be good as well. All right, moving on to the actual weight. Oh my god, this shoe feels really light. I feel like it's going to be like 11 ounces. Ooh, 10.72 ounces. Yeah, this shoe feels really light. It almost feels cheap light. And that's not good because it's a signature shoe, but you know, I guess if it's light, that's not a bad thing. Feels overall very minimal, and I'm pretty damn excited to play in the shoe. All right, aesthetically, yeah, no, I mean, from the PG1, the PG1 was the best in my opinion as far as aesthetics go. And then the 2, it was all downhill from there in my opinion. The 4 was terrible. Like, I really didn't like how that shoe looked. I feel like the 5 looks a little bit better, but I still don't think the 5 looks that great. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, my first impressions of the shoe are eh, you know, like as far as my expectations go, it kind of didn't reach my expectations because obviously I wanted Kobe 9 traction. It doesn't feel like Kobe 9 traction right now. Cushion still feels nice, but doesn't feel as nice as the PG4. Materials are super crappy, and just the aesthetics aren't doing it for me right now. So it is a little underwhelming for me right now, but I feel like it'll be a pretty solid performer. Of course, I'm gonna need to test it out and see, but my first impressions are okay right now, right? So that about wraps up this video. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.